It's Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast with your boy Ryan Enjoys Wrestling and MW. Oh, and this is our AEW edition where we're going to talk all things Grand Slam Australia, mate. And we're going to talk Dynamite because I'm so excited. As always, hit that subscribe button, follow, like, comment. Ryan, hit that music. Let's go, my man.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
Boy, was it a jam-packed week for AEW. There was no collision. Instead, we got Grand Slam Australia. And no, it was not a pay-per-view. And if you say it is, I'm going to get mad at you. It was just a regular show. It was never supposed to be a pay-per-view. But the crowd was lit. It was hype. We had some matches, and we had Dynamite. We got no news today, so we can jump into it, my man. Let's get right into Grand Slam Australia. And I want to start with the negative before we go into the positive. Mercedes Mone continued her 4-title reign by defeating Harley Cameron and defending her TBS championship. I'll let you start. What do you think of the match, and what do you think about Mercedes, maybe her reactions and her just still winning? And was she 15-0 now or 14-0 or something like that?
Yeah, I think she's 15-0. It's probably going to be a hot take, but I think it was the right decision having Harley Cameron lose. But it is AEW, and we never know how they're going to look at Wardlow and look at how they've used other people that have gotten over organically. And so I feel like maybe they should have struck while the iron was hot because of their history. But Harley Cameron can rebound from this loss and move on and kind of maybe get the belt at All In Texas later this year. So I do think it was the right decision. She can kind of build off of this and all that. So, but the question is will AEW do that? And that's anything can change between now and then. She could get in hot water with Tony Khan. She could, I don't know. But so on one side of me said that she should have beaten Mercedes, but I'm also thinking that it was the right decision having her lose. But yeah, Mercedes Moné just, again, it's the gimmick, it's the character, it's just everything. It's just not doing it for me. But in this rare instance, I actually think her winning was the right decision.
I agree. We said it in our prediction show too last week. You can check that out. I knew it was going to be her. I know everybody was so excited about Harley Cameron, but just like LA Knight, we're not going to give it to the flavor of the week. Here's the thing. Mercedes' money is so dead right now that the crowd didn't even really boo her out of the building when she beat Harley Cameron, and they all wanted her to win, and she was a hometown favorite, right? It was just like crickets, here we go again. It's just, I love Sasha Banks. I do. I love her. And Mercedes looked money. She looked hot, smoking. Her hair was better the way she did it because it was just kind of different colors at the bottom, not her whole hair being one color. I mean, she's just working it. She is good in the ring. It's not anything she's doing per se. It's the way she's being booked. It just isn't working. This isn't it. I don't get it at all. I don't like it. I'm bored of it. I think everyone's bored of it. You can tell by her reactions on Dynamite as well when she came out, and now she's wrestling just some random girl who's been wrestling for a while that nobody really cares or knows about unless you really, really are that focused. This isn't going to help her out either. Nobody likes her, and just putting a ton of belts on her isn't going to fix that. She needs to lose to somebody, but she's obviously not going to lose her next match. So I don't even know who's going to move on in the future to even take over. And she has the secondary belt. I mean, maybe Mariah May will move down. I don't know, but this is just not working for me. It's not working for me, brother.
Yeah.
Huh?
I think she needs a feud like Mariah May or something along those lines to get people on her side. Mariah May has a tendency to she knows how to turn people against her, and she can make you the biggest babyface in the company with some of her words and her actions. And she's been calling out Mercedes a lot in some of her, when she's been on commentary, like how Tony only pushes Mercedes. He only wants Mercedes on TV. So maybe that is the direction that they're going. And I think it could benefit both Mercedes and Mariah May to have a program together. But that's neither here nor there for now.
Well, speaking of that, let's jump into it. Toni Storm beat Mariah May in her home country, becoming the new AEW Women's Champion. It was by a roll-up. There was about 75 finishers that they each kicked out of, and she rolled her up. I want you to explain why it's important, and I'm going to tell you why it's not. Go ahead.
So according to the AEW fans, you got to really be paying attention to everything that's been going on because it's all right there. It's all mapped out. You just gotta pick it up and read it. But when she was Rockstar Toni Storm, she won her first match back on Rampage via roll up, and then when she was Rockstar Toni Storm and she was in that Battle Royal to get the opportunity as Mariah May. She won that on a roll-up. So it's only fitting that she beats Mariah May on a roll-up because that's how she's been winning and how she got there. But I don't really have a problem with her winning on a roll-up because it tells me that the feud's not over and that, now maybe we get one last clash between these three women, the rubber match, if you will. Toni Storm, Mariah May 3 at All In Texas. And this time it's going to end. Maybe there's a gimmick, maybe there's a cage, maybe there's, maybe it's last woman standing or something. But this time there's actually going to be a real finish. So that's why I didn't really have a problem with it. But I don't believe in all the story of, she won it this way as Rockstar Toni Storm. I don't buy all that. That's just what people are saying. But I don't have a problem with her winning on a roll up because it tells me that the feud's not done.
Yeah, no, I'm not okay with that. I thought the roll-up was stupid, even if the feud's not done. And here's why. Just because this is the best feud, possibly rival, that AEW has ever had, possibly. And it's been going on for, 2.5 years now, possibly?
Yeah.
And Toni Storm finally got the comeuppance. She came back, she won, and she does it by a roll-up after. If you want to do one finisher, something like that, where Toni Storm hits her finisher, or Mariah May hits it, and then Toni, but they were doing like finisher, kicking out, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And then she just wins by a roll up. It was very anticlimactic. And if you're going to do it at that big of a night in front of Australia, having Toni Storm, then give her moment. She can have her moment and beat her fair and square and still have. Mariah May could have used the normal heel tactic and said, it's because of your hometown crowd. If you wrestle me in a even main event, I'll beat you or whatever. But no, she got rolled up. It was just very like, womp, womp. I didn't like it, and I thought the match was fire. I thought it was very disappointing. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that was awesome, I guess. I don't know. It really, I didn't like it. I'm not saying it ruined anything or this and that. I just thought it would have been a little bit more impactful to have her have a real boom moment, hit her with her move and enjoy her crowd.
And I will say this too, that I think that AEW got it right with Harley Cameron losing. But I think they got it wrong with Mariah. I
agree.
I love Toni Storm. She's been fantastic. She is fantastic, and she's a fantastic character. And this has been a great rivalry, and it's been fantastic to see everything that they've been doing. But Mariah May never really had a signature win as women's champion. She never really beat anybody. I mean, she beat a bunch of New Japan wrestlers, and I think she beat Harley Cameron one time. But other than that, she hasn't really had a defining moment as champion. And so I was kind of disappointed. And I feel like this feud should have ended at their biggest show, All In Texas. So maybe it does. Maybe she gets the belt back then. But I just feel like Mariah May should have retained, and we keep this feud going and we keep the timeless thing going.
Yeah, I agree. Because what are we doing with, what does Toni Storm do now? She's a champion again. She just got it. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. It should have been Mariah May. Let's talk about more controversy. There was the world was up in arms. WWE lovers were like, did you see the size of it? And AEW is like, the size doesn't matter. It was your epic choice. And yes, of course, I am talking about the ring. The AEW ring, I guess, was 2 feet smaller than it normally is. And people gave a shit. I have no idea. And I didn't even notice until I read that somebody was complaining about it. And then I looked. And honestly, I told you this before we went on it. I think the ring looks smaller because the way they set the arena up around it made it look smaller. I feel like if you would have had the crowd up against it a little bit closer and the ring the entrance ramp a little bit closer. Just everything was unproportioned. It looked like it was in a space that was too big, where usually you don't have that much space, so the ring looks a little bit bigger. So I just felt like it looked as small as it did because of the fact that it was in this like weird spacing. But with that said, you know why, so let us know and why the ring was smaller per se. But the matches were great, so it's not like it took away from anything. So who gives a shit?
It's just this is when I say people just hate on AEW for the sake of hating on AEW. This is why. This is what I mean when I say it, because that's all this was they had a fantastic show, they had a fantastic event, they had great matches, and you know, they got a pretty decent rating coming off of the All-Star game too from this event. So it was a successful night for Tony Khan and AEW. So what do we have to do? We have to find a way to shit on it, and that's what fans do. And you know, I don't care about the size of the ring. And apparently, the story is that they. And this is from QT Marshall, who works in AEW. So I'm going to take him at his word. But they apparently got ordered a ring from an independent company. It was all a logistical thing. It's really expensive to ship stuff from the US to Australia. You never know if it's going to get there. If it doesn't get there, you know, the WWE had the Elimination Chamber almost seized by pirates last year when on the way to Australia.
Remember,
I don't know if you remember that whole story. Yeah. So I'm sure like Tony Khan didn't want to take any risks. So they ordered a ring while they were already there in Australia. It's a smart logistical move. And it happened to be 18 by 18 instead of 20 by 20 or whatever it is they normally use. And, you know, this is why it's a second-rate production. Like, no, it's not. Like, the matches were fantastic. Like people were just finding something to shit on this event and shit on AEW. You know, you want to criticize their booking, you want to criticize some of their decisions, some of the things Tony Khan does and says, go for it. But criticizing them over this, it's absolutely asinine to me.
And here's the only way where I would even allow thinking about it being okay was if the matches suffered from it. If Ospreay was jumping too far or too short, or they were getting crumbled up in matches, but they were literally putting 4 people in the ring at all times during almost every single match. Like, obviously it didn't impact it at all. So why say anything? Fans are stupid, man. I'm not going to say it's tribal. It's just stupidity. People are just stupid. They can never be happy. That's the problem. And speaking with that, let's see if we're happy or not with the ending. So we had the tag team match, and Mox put Cope to sleep. Really quick. We were talking about names. His name is Cope. He comes out and it says Rated R Superstar Cope.
Yeah.
The announcers constantly call him Adam Copeland. And his ring attire says Adam Copeland.
Yes.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm very confused. Like, what is his name? Is it Cope his nickname? Is he still Adam Copeland? We just call him Cope. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm Denton, people are like, "What up, D?" Like, is that what it is?
Dent?
Or is
put a dent in it?
No, they call me D, bruh, for a reason. But here's the thing, right? Like, HBD into hissy. But no, honestly, like, is it Cope? Is it Copeland? Like, are the announcers sending? Because every time I hear them say Adam Copeland, I'm like, dude, you guys don't even know. Like, you're right. That would be like Booker T being like, and here is Ricky Starks. And like constantly calling him Ricky Starks when he's Ricky Saints. Like, is his name Cope or Adam Copeland? Like, what the hell is it? But nonetheless, how do you feel about Mox putting his ass to sleep? We both predicted that Mox would win. I purposely said Mox was going to pin Cope to build up the Cope beating Mox. I felt like this was the way to it. But what do you think? Let's hear it.
It felt very like, oh, okay, that's it. That's how this is ending. Okay, cool. That's how I felt watching it. And it's not that I had a problem with it. I feel like Jon Moxley has talked the talk, but he has not walked the walk. You know, he had that moment a few weeks ago with the Rock and Roll Express. And he's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you and I'm gonna give you a concerto. And the guy was like, oh, you don't have the balls. And then Moxley like patted him on the shoulder and like walked away. He never did anything. You know, like he talked the talk, but he didn't do anything. And now same thing happened with Cope. He said, I'm going to break your neck in Australia. And so what does he do? He chokes him out. And he didn't. He
had a chance to break his neck too. He was there. At least go do it and have somebody interfere. Yeah.
Yeah. And he didn't. He just, because again, he talks the talk and doesn't walk the walk. So I had a problem with that. but it also just felt very anticlimactic as an ending to a match. But we're going to get the blow off at Revolution in a couple of weeks, and I have a feeling that match is going to be off the chains. So I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll be there live, y'all. So if anyone's going to be there, holler at your boy. MWO will be there live in effect. I'm going to bring my young little hot girlfriend too. So if y'all want to meet her, you guys can hang out with her and entertain her, buy her a drink so I can save some money. But here we go, right? I'm not against it. I'd rather have seen him get pinned. He couldn't have tapped out. Going to sleep, I guess, is a cheap way. But hey, if you wanted to use a roll-up in a match, this would have been the match. At least Mox rolling up Cope would have been like, okay, you got the win, you beat him, but you had to do a roll-up. So now when you have the match, my thing is getting choked out. Is there any other bitch way of losing a match? And me thinking like, if a UFC fighter, if they have a match and the guy wins the title, but he chokes him out and puts his ass to sleep, no one's clamoring for a rematch after that. It's like, oh, you got your ass kicked. I don't want to see this again. Like watching Mox choke his ass to sleep, I kind of felt like, well, okay. Now, like, Cope's supposed to win. Like, now I think he's going to beat him in a few weeks at Rev. So that was my thing. Like, they should have used that roll up on Toni Storm and Mariah May in this match where Mox could have rolled him up, held the tights, whatever, 1, 2, 3, and he'd been like, yeah. And then at least Cope has a reason. Like, Cope came out this on Dynamite like nothing happened. Like, he was like, yeah, I got you, punching you from behind. Like, dude, you just got put to sleep. Put to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, who are you to think you belong with Mox anymore? So that was my thing against it. But I don't mind the losing, but the put to sleep thing, I just feel like it's like, what worse way is there to lose? Tapping out? I mean, what's the difference? I don't know.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Didn't put to sleep. I felt like it was a little weak to have your, the number one contender do that a couple weeks out from his title match. So.
And it was just, it's the same old too. That's the other thing. Like, how many times have we seen Mox, choking out Adam Copeland to end an episode of Dynamite or Collision? It happens every single week. So why not have another pay-per-view or special event? Why not have him do it there too? So come up with something new.
Agreed. All right, let's get into some Dynamite because I can tell you're so excited. And let's open up with Yeah, you can. Let's open it up with the promo. We finally got it. We've been talking about it. We've been hyping about it. We were really, really excited for MJF and Hangman Page. We thought the promos were going to be insane. The match is going to be insane. We got a first taste of it. They went about 16 minutes, I believe, if not maybe a little bit less on this promo back and forth. What did you think? Are you excited? Is this what you wanted? Let's hear it.
I actually did. Yeah, I liked it. I thought this was a really good showing from both guys. The thing I liked about it was with MJF, he didn't go into, and maybe this is a benefit of both guys being AEW originals, but he didn't go into, you were in NXT and you were in WWE and you wrestled John Cena and you wrestled Triple H, like he likes to do with every other wrestler that he faces. He went at Dustin Rhodes a few weeks ago talking about how he's never been as good as his brother. And he talked in Jon Moxley's feud, he was talking about how he was the weakest link of his group. And he's the weakest link of his old group, like in WWE. The Adam Cole feud, he was talking about how, Adam Cole couldn't hang it in NXT. And that's why he came here. So I liked this promo from MJF because he didn't have to go that route. And it was kind of refreshing to hear. And he didn't get the cheap heat. He did a little bit at the beginning, but he didn't have to resort to cheap heat from the crowd. So I liked it all. I thought it was a good way to get us excited about the feud. I like that MJF is kind of Hangman Page in a way, and Hangman Page is kind of MJF in a way, that they've both done dastardly things. They both have snapped. They both just want fans' admiration, whether MJF wants to admit it or not. He does care about what the fans think. That's why he became a babyface when he was better than you, baby. Adam Page got upset when Swerve Strickland broke into his house and the fans cheered for Swerve and booed Hangman Page. He was the bad guy. So I like this feud. This was a great way to introduce this program and get me excited about it. And then the way that it ended, it did go on a little too long for my liking. I thought, I was like, oh my gosh, there's more. But I didn't hate it. It was a good way to open the show.
So you liked it more than I did. Here's my thing. Have you ever not see a movie yet and you ask a friend and they're like, oh, I saw that movie. Oh my God, you got to go see it. It's the best movie. It's so great. It's phenomenal. And this and that. And then you go see the movie and you're like, it's all right. You know what I mean? And you're like, was it just all right because it was all right? Or was it just all right because I had somebody tell me how great it is? And now I had that in my head. And so my expectations were low. It's like what they used to say in high school, right? Yo, tell the girl you got the smallest wiener in the whole world, because then no matter what size it is, she's going to think it's huge, right? You'd never want to hype anything up, right? You always want to make it seem not as great as it is. And maybe that's why I didn't like this face to face as much as I thought I would. I was super excited for MJF and Hangman, but I think I was disappointed in what they talked about. MJF once again focused on the whole, why do they like you and they don't like me, and boo-hoo and like, why? When has MJF ever cared? Even when he was a good guy, he didn't care. Like, why now does he care that Christopher Daniels or that Hangman Page is getting cheered and he's getting booed and so on? And it's just like, you did it with this and I did it with the scarf. I just felt like there was going to be more to it. And then he gets spit on, which starts the fight, and Christopher Daniels has to break it up or whatever. But even the spit didn't seem like it was necessary, because I didn't feel like they were really that much in their face. Like never once did I think like they were going to go to blows. And so I thought, okay, they're just like starting it off chill. But then he spit on him, and then it was like, whoa, I'm going to go crazy. And I was just kind of like, all right, well, if you're going to do the spit thing, then you should have went a little bit more hardcore then, because it should have led up to the spit. I don't know. So I'm not saying it was bad. I'm still super excited about this match, but I just didn't think they went to where they could go. I felt like they could have went a little bit more, a little bit darker, a little bit, I don't know. They're just so great right now. They're probably the two best promos in AEW. Now, maybe you're going to say, well, it's just a hint, Denton, but Revolution ain't that far away. So it's like they have a lot of time to kind of get there. I don't know. I'm not saying it was bad at all. I think I hyped myself up too much and was kind of like, it is what it is. It happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see that point of view, and it was
long, like you said.
It was very long, and then the Christopher Daniels thing kind of threw me off a little bit, and then Adam Page like losing it when MJF mentioned Christopher Daniels, but Adam Page is the one that retired him. I was like, okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense here. I do want to know though, how important is this feud for AEW? Because right now there's like, if AEW needs a shot in the arm, I feel like these two guys can be the ones to provide it to them.
And that's why I think this promo didn't do it for me, because I think it is super important. And I don't think this was their best. I think if you went and asked them, like if you knew them on a personal basis and you're like, yo guys, what do you think out of 10? I think they would both say 6. I don't think either of them would say like, oh no, we knocked it out of the park. And that's what I have a problem with. I just felt like they had that chance and it should have been, because they're better than 10s. You know what I mean? They're both so great. I don't know. It just made me feel like, honestly, like after, like you said, is it important? I questioned it afterwards. Like after this promo, I was like, okay, maybe we didn't need this match. And that's how I felt, but I think they do. But that's what I mean. The promo made me feel that way. And it could just be me. If you told me even AEW hardcore fan that I can't stand said it was the best promo ever, I wouldn't disagree with them. I would say, okay, I see why you thought that. Just for me, I think I might have just hyped myself up too much, and it made me feel that way. I don't know.
Yeah,
I didn't hear a lot about it, so maybe I'm just in the minority. I don't know.
I think it was just refreshing for me to hear an actual MJF promo, and without him having to talk about the WWE and his usual shtick that he does anytime he runs. And again, maybe it's because Paige has never been in WWE, so he didn't have that to go to. But it was I just thought it was a refreshing way. I thought it was, I
wouldn't disagree with you. 100%. I can see why you felt that way. All right, well, let's get into something we might agree on. Ricochet came out wearing his Prince Nana jacket. Nana came out and basically said, please give it back to me, and then nothing happened. So what are we doing here? Because supposedly I'm like super minority on this. Supposedly Ricochet's the best heel in the game right now. Like, move over, Daddy Dom. I'll tell you this much. The reactions from the crowd are not saying it. I've yet to hear this guy get booed out of the building. So you can keep telling me that I'm stupid and that I don't know what. I'm not saying you, but people on TikTok and everything saying that I'm an idiot for not understanding this. None of the fans are either. So who's liking this? Please explain to me who watched this Ricochet and Prince Nana promo and said, yes, this is it. This is what we've been like. This is great television. Ricochet is him.
It beats the hell out of me because I have no earthly idea. Because I want to get behind Ricochet. I want to support him. I want to like him. And I just can't get into it. It's just not like they're fighting over a robe. And, it's like, I know that it has a lot of sentimental value to Prince Nana and everything. And I get that, but I don't know. I just don't find Ricochet believable. It feels like I feel like he's going out there and he's playing, like I can tell he's playing a character and I can't get behind him. And that's the thing I don't like about it. I don't know if it's his acting ability, his promo ability, maybe all of it. But I feel like when I look at Ricochet, I see somebody that's going out and playing the role of a character. And you can tell he's like, okay, what's my next line? Okay, right. Okay, I got to say this now. And then that's, and he does it. And, is he fantastic in the ring? Absolutely. But yeah, this promo I'm trying to get behind him and I just can't.
Yeah, and I don't want to hate on him because I like Ricochet and I think he is talented. Yeah. I'm glad he's getting a push more so than he did in WWE, but promos aren't his thing. He's just not a good actor. And I think you got to give him less and they're trying to give him too much. And why didn't he beat down Prince Nana? Like if he's really going to be this heel, beat the crap out of him. Don't be in the ring with me. Like at least make me somehow believe that he's that dude. I'm rewatching Entourage, a show on HBO, great show. If you've never seen it, boy or girl, watch it. Entourage, one of the greatest shows of all time. And I'm in the seasons now where Vince he's the main character and people don't think he's a good actor and he just doesn't have it. And this is what's reminding me of Ricochet is that like, okay, maybe you're a star, right? And maybe you are that guy who can sell a pay-per-view because of your wrestling ability, but you're not a good actor. You're not the guy who's going to bring him in through your performances. And that's what it is with Ricochet. Like he's trying to survive off that laugh, which is utterly stupid. No one's doing it. And my thing is that I would say, okay, I'm just being blind to it. If he was getting reactions, he's not getting, no one gave this promo, like almost ruined the episode for me. I thought it was a great episode and this came out and it like dumbed it out. It was too long. I don't even know what the purpose of it was. He didn't do anything. He didn't attack me. He just walked like, I'm not giving it to you. Credits.
Okay.
Like what? Like what the hell did I just like? There was literally no point to the promo. Nothing. Yeah. You can't come out and do this if there's no point to the damn promo. It is just bad overall, and they really need to, like Mercedes money, restart. Get Ricochet back and restart him. It just, it's not working for me, brother. It's not. Yeah. It just isn't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I kept waiting for Swerve to come out and do something to kind of even things up a little bit. And this didn't happen. So
even up what? He wasn't doing it. Nana was like in what universe does Nana go at a villain and not get his ass kicked for it? Like
exactly.
It just is like I don't like Nana didn't even try to take the jacket and Ricochet bitch slap him or something. Like give me something. Like there's nothing, and he never attacks. He actually runs away from Prince Nana most of the time. I don't understand what we're doing here with. I'm just I'm lost. I'm lost, and I get people in my comments trying to tell me, and nothing they say makes sense because it doesn't. So it's not like I'm being convinced. Something that didn't make sense to you was the international title tournament. Why don't you explain to our AEW listeners right now and why it didn't make sense to you?
So the AEW International Series, the International Championship Series that they're doing is a series that, should culminate at a pay-per-view with the winner getting to fight the international champion, or you would think. But instead, what we're getting is Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong in the main event of AEW Dynamite and the winner wrestles the international champion next week on Dynamite, Takeshita. And then the winner of that gets to wrestle Kenny Omega at AEW Revolution. So the champion has to earn his way to wrestle Kenny Omega at a pay-per-view. And that's just mind-boggling to me. And the other thing, too, is Kenny Omega challenged Takeshita for the international title at during the AEW Grand Slam Australia. And I think the challenge was accepted. I think it was made official at one point. But now we're doing this, instead of giving it to us, we're getting an international title series. So it's obviously going to be Takeshita versus Kenny Omega at Revolution. So don't waste our time. This was not a good idea from Tony Khan. This was a horrible decision. I don't know why he thought this was a good idea, but this was awful. The champion having to earn his way to wrestle Kenny Omega. It should be the other way around. Kenny Omega and Orange Cassidy should be wrestling next week to wrestle Takeshita at Revolution. But it's TK 101 for you, man.
It really is. And to break it down, we had a main event of Orange Cassidy, who hasn't been on AEW television for 15 weeks, wrestling Roderick Strong, who no one gives a shit about. That was the main event. Orange Cassidy won, and now he faces a champion. Like you said, they should have been wrestling to see who faces Kenny Omega. You don't just Kenny Omega. Just because you're a Kenny Omega doesn't mean you just get to win one match and then get a title shot. You need to earn it. They wrestle, and you're right. It just, I don't get it at all. And I don't mind the international title getting praised. I don't mind the international title getting hyped. I don't mind the way they did it. Just once again, what do I always say about AEW? Great idea, poor execution. You had a good idea, you just flubbed it. And if Kenny Omega can't wrestle that much, then don't try to put him in a title shot to win a title. If he's not that guy, you can't wrestle in this match too, or whatever, or have him do it. Yeah, but it very, very, very weird booking. Let's end it on this. We had the slapping meat match. It was a barn burner, as JR would say, and it was Powerhouse Hobbs versus one Big Bill. Before Big Bill came out too, Chris Jericho's the ROH World Champion. Did you know that? He's
the Nueve. Yeah.
I forgot. Once I saw him with the belt, I was like, oh yeah, what? Does he ever wear it? And that's okay, because he shouldn't be on AEW as ROH. But yeah, and all of a sudden he's challenging Bandito for the title match. I don't know. I'm so confused on everybody's been clamoring for that. That was like on everybody's bingo card. Chris Jericho versus Bandito for the ROH World Heavyweight Championship. But nonetheless, Powerhouse Hobbs, Big Bill, Powerhouse Hobbs gets the W. What do you think?
I thought it was a great match. I think both guys are having breakout years in AEW, and it's a good way to build new stars, which is what we keep asking Tony Khan to do. It's what we keep asking AEW to do, build new stars. And I feel like this was an opportunity to do just that. And it's leading to the potential breakup of the learning tree, and Big Bill's going to wrestle Jericho soon, and I'm ready for that. Powerhouse Hobbs is going to move on and do some other great things. So I thought everything was great. There was one spot about this match, though, that really just kind of irritated me, and because it looked so fake. And I hate using the word fake when it comes to wrestling, but it was the spot where Powerhouse Hobbs is ramming Big Bill's head into the steel steps, and you can clearly see him holding his hands in front of him, and he kept on doing it, and kept on doing it. He was yeeting on the steel steps. He was doing the Jey Uso yeet on the steps. And then the commentator's trying to sell it like he's bashing that skull into that 18 pounds of metal and just pure steel. And I'm like, no, he's not. Like it looked so fake. But other than that, the match was fantastic. I just wish that AEW don't hone in on that kind of stuff and don't do that kind of stuff. Make it look real, and or don't keep doing it. Like maybe do it once or twice and then quickly move on to something else. But he kept on doing it. And it was screaming the F word to me, which is.
There you are. All right, you froze for a little bit. So here, I'll just counter it. Let's end this. I thought it was a good match. I saw people saying it was a little long. I didn't think it was too long. I enjoyed it. I liked the violence. It wasn't overdone to its top. And I think the right person won. Powerhouse Hobbs needed it. Big Bill will be fine. He'll beat Chris Jericho eventually to get his redemption and move on. I love it. It's about time TK is pushing these big, meaty dudes. Usually he forgets about them. I like it. Like the match. The crowd was really into it. I'm all for it. Good job, AEW. All right, let's get into our segment. You ready? Because I know we got to get through this. We got report card time. I forget. Do we have a song for report card?
No, we do not have.
We do not. So, all right. So report card, we do. We're going to go ahead and give each other a couple things, and we're going to grade it A through F. As always, Ryan starts off. Let's get through these. Let's go. Who do you got for me? What do you got?
All right, I'll start easy for you. AEW on Max. Give it a grade so far.
You know what? I'm going to be I might shock you right now. I'm going to say an A. I actually I still record it on my DVR. I don't even watch them. I delete them instantly. I like having it on Max, just like I like Raw on Netflix. I think streaming's the future. I hate having DirecTV, and I only have it so I can watch sports like basketball, football, hockey, baseball. We need to get rid of that too and put everything on streaming. I'm so over cable. So why are all sports like? Why can I not watch the Angels on Max? Why can't I watch like the Ducks on whatever? You know what I mean? It's the only reason why I have cable, so I can watch these things. Like I heard the NFL wants to sell to Netflix for one of their shows instead of CBS and Fox, and the world was like, "What?" And I'm like, who doesn't own Netflix? Like, why are you upset with that? That's so much better. One more time, I don't have to watch shit on cable TV. But yeah, I like it. I'm gonna say an A, and I do think when I watch it on Max, I don't know, I haven't been watching it on TNT or TBS, but on Max, it looks better. The color's better. It's more vibrant. Maybe it's on both right now, but when I watch it on Max, I like it. I can stop, pause, watch it later. I'm digging it. The only thing I don't like about it on Max, it is so hard to find. Like on Peacock, you go to the side, there's a WWE section. There's no AEW section. And even when I find like their things, they're not even up to date. So if I click on Dynamite, they won't have the latest one. I literally have to every single time search AEW, and then it pops up the search and each individual episode's there. And that's how I find it. Like you don't make it Max, come on, y'all. You bought them. You gave them a lot of money. They need to have their own little tab. It needs to be DC, AEW. Like, it's really hard to find. But other than that, I'm liking it. I give it an A.
Yeah, I've been pretty impressed with the production of HBO Max. You know, we had a couple of glitches there on the Raw on Netflix a couple months ago. You know, we've had some issues there. But AEW on Max, man, like we haven't for a streaming platform that doesn't do a lot of live sports and a lot of live television. It's been flawless since they started on January 1st. So I've been really impressed with everything. So yeah, I don't like the commercials though, but can't really do anything about it.
No, I don't, because they're still on TBS and TNT. If they weren't, we wouldn't get them. All right. Opening match. AEW Grand Slam Australia. Don Callis family versus Omega and Ospreay. It was touted as being the possible greatest match of all time. The match happened. What do you grade it, that first match?
I'm gonna give it a B+. I think it served its purpose. The crowd was lit. It was a great way to introduce the show. It was a great way to start the show and get the crowd even more excited about what was to come. I think there's a MVP came out and he said that he's told Will Ospreay to kind of slow it down on TV and really save the flippity doodah stuff for the pay-per-views, because you're gonna, you want to preserve your body, you don't want to hurt yourself, you don't want to overdo it, you want to keep wrestling until you're in your late 40s and 50s. That's the way to do it, is to kind of slow things down. And I think he's taken that advice, because I didn't really remember a lot of, there was a lot of counters and there was a lot of kicking out, and there were some flips, but it wasn't as egregious as some of the other ones. So I thought it was a good way to open the show. Kenny Omega looked like $1 million, and he should be the one to take that belt off of Takeshita. That belt needs an overhaul, and I think Kenny 100%. Omega can give it to him. So I give it a B+. It was a good way to open the show.
All right, I'm gonna give it a C, and here's why. I know I saw everyone give it an A or a 10. Everyone loved it. Said people agreed that it was the greatest match ever. My thing was, I don't like tag matches where all 4 guys are in the ring at all times. This wasn't even like a tag match. It was just a brawl with 4 guys. They were in the ring the entire time. And I think I've told you this before, like with elimination, with matches where there's too much. I don't like it. Like war games. I don't want to be able to look into I need to focus on what's going on. And that's why I like tag matches. It's solo. This match, they were like doing finishers at the same time together, wrestling together.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
I just thought it was too much. And though it was fun, and I'm not saying it was in a bad way, just because I couldn't focus on what the hell was going on, it was like a constant just boom, 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 2 guys, boom, boom, tag, boom, you're in. Now let's tag team, and boom, boom. There was no like one-on-one at all. I just didn't think it was as good as it could have been. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I see it. Good rating. Good rating. All right. What's your last one? What you got for me, Ryan?
Oh,
great. F. Just kidding. What do you?
Let's go with the Death Riders over the last couple of weeks, because they took some heat there for a little bit with having no direction, but now it feels like they're starting to turn things around. So let's give the Death Riders a grade.
Death Riders in the last 2 weeks. Last few weeks, not overall, not since they started. The last few weeks.
Yeah. Overall, the last couple of weeks.
You know what? I don't hate them as much as people do. I'm gonna say B+. I'm not gonna give them an A because they're not perfect. They're not there, but a B+. I like, I think they're starting to have a little bit more of an identity. I like the rivalry with Cope and everybody right now. So I am digging it. I didn't mind the match. I didn't like the result because I don't think you should get slept when you're fighting for a title, but I think this is building people. Like, I think Pac feels important. Claudio's felt more important than ever. I like that they're not picking on freaking Wheeler anymore, and he feels like he's like the Dominic Mysterio, or like the JD McDonough, where he comes out and kicks ass and gets beat up. I like what the Marina Shafir is looking dominant. She looks like a force. I think it's elevating people. So yeah, I like it now. I don't hate it as much as people do. So I'll say B+. Not perfect, but I think it's good.
All right. Yeah. No, fair enough. That's a good pick. Good pick.
All right, last one. You ready? My man, Max Caster, he finally broke away. He had a promo we didn't talk about this week where the beautiful Renee Paquette in a dress that had me shut. Good job, Mox. That's my dude. And she basically said, all you're doing is losing. You're 0-2. And then he cut a thing about how I don't know, it's not the way he envisioned it. And if you just take him face to face, he's going to win, which obviously means he's going to lose. What do you grade Max Caster's solo run since he has branched away from the Acclaimed?
I give it an F. I don't like what they've done with him. He's an opportunity to build a new star in AEW, and I feel like he's kind of getting the Giovanni Vinci treatment from WWE, where you're hyping him up, you're hyping him up, and then he loses. And it's not so much the fact that he loses, it's how he loses, and it's just not working for me. Now he's got another open challenge, and I'm starting to not care. And that's the last thing you want when you're a wrestling fan, is to not care.
The Acclaimed is my favorite wrestling anything ever in AEW all time. I've been waiting for a Max Caster solo run. I give it enough too. I'm not looking forward to this at all, and it's really, really disappointing me. All right, let's get into it. It's our weekly. Let's just hit them quick. We got our LVD and our MVD. Yep, we got least valuable, most valuable. Who is your least valuable of the week of AEW?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with my LVD of the week, and it's going to be Ricochet. I think we've said enough about Ricochet that we don't need to spend too much time on him, but he's just not doing it for me. His character's not working. He just needs an overhaul, and he needs a reset or a mouthpiece. He needs somebody to talk for him and just let him be the heel that he can be. I think that one little tweak could really change him for me, but I'm not feeling it. Not feeling it with Ricochet.
Yeah. I agree with you. Good pick. I'm going to go with Mariah May, believe it or not. This girl was a super long reigning champion. She lost to Toni Storm in her first match in Australia by a roll-up. Super disappointing. And then we didn't even see her on Dynamite. What the heck? No reaction at all? Yeah, don't like it. She takes my L. All right. Ended on a positive. Who's your MVD of the week for AEW?
I'm going to give it to the Australian crowd. They were hyped all night long. They were excited the whole show. And then my favorite part of the show was when they sang Metalingus with Adam Copeland. And you could tell that it was awesome. And you could tell that he really appreciated it. You could tell that you could see the emotions in his face when they were doing that. And, you don't know the next time he'll be in Australia. He may not be a wrestling. He may not be in wrestling anymore. So I give it to the Australian crowd. That was a cool moment, and they brought it all night. And then they gave Toni Storm some much needed love too. So shout out to them. MVD of the week.
Great pick, and that made me miss Judas so bad. I miss when the crowd used to sing Judas. Remember when they took it away from him and the whole crowd just sang his entrance? Beautiful. My MVD, Powerhouse Hobbs. That dude got a win. He needed a win. He hasn't been pushed lately. Got a big win against Big Bill. I love it. Props to Powerhouse Hobbs. And once again, thank you all for tuning in. That is our AEW edition of the week. As always, subscribe, follow, comment, whatever. Give us some attention. Give us some love because we want to get out there and want people to see us. If you're just looking for me, it's my_wrestling_opinion at all social media devices. And with me, as always, is
Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social platforms as well. Go hit us up on X at 2DudesPC, on TikTok at 2Dudes with Attitudes. Subscribe to our YouTube, 2Dudes with Attitudes, and help us grow up there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. And drop us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everybody about your favorite 2 dudes on the internet.
Yeah, 2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on.